Today we're laying our hardwood floor. We're laying sound insulation. We'll put the floor on top of it. What's special today is that we're indeed laying across rooms as we speak. Stay tuned for what's coming next. Hi and welcome to Planeo, everyone. We're here at our construction site, having completed preliminary work. And we're now going to begin to carefully lay our beautiful hardwood floor. We're going to lay it here as a floating floor, which means sound insulation needs to be laid down. It's absolutely very important here that the sound insulation has an integrated PE foil, or you can lay the PE foil separately, but we have an integrated one right here. We're also going to lay across rooms here. Normally, generally speaking, you shouldn't do that. We'd still like to give it a try here. And the homeowner also says that if there are any dents or if seams start to form, I can still cut it open and put a splint in. If you do that, like comfortably laying across rooms, you don't always have a warranty. Check the installation instructions for the flooring to see exactly what's included. That's how you'll have a warranty in the future. We're going to very carefully roll out the sound insulation first. We're going to use our aluminum foil here. The vapor barrier is integrated here. Which way do I lay this now? Normally this aluminum side, exactly. The vapor barrier always goes up between substrate and aluminum side. No damage can occur, not even in the future. So we have sound insulation between substrate and aluminum, but also pay attention when rolling it out and when working on it later, that you don't damage the aluminum foil. And the joints should, of course, be properly and securely sealed with aluminum tape, so that no excessive or unwanted moisture can just seep into the floor. Jonas is there cutting the edge insulation strip. Our task now is to currently vacuum everything. It should be nice and clean with no crumbs or anything like that below. As mentioned beginning, we definitely want to indeed lay our real wood floor here. It's a pretty nice product, although it has a rather thin wear layer, or top layer, which is in reality not very thick at all. So it counts as a veneer floor. But the special thing about this one is that it uses a special technology that has been integrated with a wood powder layer, which makes the surface extremely hard if you're not quite sure which floor you should install in your place. Is this really indeed what I want? Is that okay for me? Feel free to use our WhatsApp service that we offer, either somewhere up here, perhaps in this vast expanse, perhaps a QR code typically comes up like this. You can also just simply and easily use the link in the video description by clicking. Yes, for the first row, we cut off this tongue that's at the front here, so that we can properly lay it against the wall. Oh, your lens is really dirty. Right here at the front is the patio door, so that we can, in order, lay this down as nicely as possible. It's actually fine if the tongue is already missing there. Still, we have to be careful here now, that we don't get too close to the wall here. Here it will be like this. The client wanted it to be placed as close as possible, so that there's a small finish here. You generally have to carefully and thoroughly consider in your decision-making process if a floor is floating and not glued. Then it moves around a lot more than if you were to glue it down firmly. So please be very careful. If you think at home, indeed, I'll lay it as close as possible. Here, you take the risk and say, I don't care, just do it, because I want it to look nice. It would definitely be more pleasant if you really keep your 10 millimeters all around with wooden floors, maybe even more like 12, 30 millimeters, so that the floor can work properly. It depends on the size of the area. If I only have a small room of 10 square meters, then it doesn't have to be. Here, it's about 70 square meters on an area that we're laying here and then also spanning across rooms. The floor will move around slightly and may also build up tension. And then there are places where it is so... When it gets that close, it can indeed be very, very fatal. You have to know yourself if you want to do that. So we will probably most likely leave it at about this distance here, approximately. Yes, I think that's how we will approach it. That's about 4 to 5 millimeters. Now we're going to fit this in here. Just a little bit more, that we at least have proper air to the wall where the baseboard will also go. I also just want to simply show one more thing here, the click connection. How does the system work? I'm simply going to lay the next board right away. And you just lay them down and they lie flat. Nothing is locked yet at this very moment. Only with the next row, the tongue pushes in from the row, pushing the plastic tongue out. Basically right in here from the row and literally pushes it out. And then this row is locked. So pay attention to that. When you actually try to fit this board in, you just can't get that head down because the tongue has popped out. So make sure that it's always comfortably, securely and snugly in there and firmly so that it works. And with the next row, you then angle it in here, that then lies in here. This is how you effortlessly and without any difficulty lock this tongue in a very simple and straightforward manner. So as I said, pay a little attention to that it's always nicely in there. What I can also recommend, note this, the rooms are not completely straight. One wall is like this, the other one is a little slanted, and then this affects the other rooms and the remaining area as well. So make sure to measure that across. Are you exactly straight? And also how you fit with the width of the boards. For example, we have it like this now, that later, when we keep laying it down, laying it down. Then we need here, right, later at the end, just saw off a strip of about 2 centimeters and that's good. Then we have 2 full boards at start and end. That looks really nice. It's a shame when you have to somehow fit in a piece that's just about 2 centimeters at the end. If it should be the case for you, as you may know, that you already have the first plank, if you cut off 10 centimeters, then later on you only add those 12 centimeters at the back. Then you'll most definitely have a nicer layout. In terms of laying direction, the builder has decided to lay it out like this. That has to do with the stairs here. Because we will also be laying it through towards the stairs. And you would like the floor to be in the same direction. Like the stairs will start later. That keeps a wood look, and yes, that way it looks nice and uniform. And with the geometry, the room geometry that we have here, it doesn't make slightly a difference how I lay it out now. The floor doesn't care. I'm marking it here. A rail installed here later, and here is the baseboard. If we cut too much out here, we'll end up with a hole here, as the rail might not cover it properly. If we go too far here, we'll end up hanging the board already in the wall later. And of course, we obviously don't want that because it definitely needs to be pretty much centered. And now we're just probably gonna cut off a little bit, this much, right over here. Everything's dirty. What I wanted to add is we're laying it in a wild bond. That means what we cut off at the back. We start again at the front. It's absolutely very low in waste and creates a nice mixed pattern. What you just have to pay attention to is that the heads from the previous row and the current row, that they are at least 30 centimeters apart. Especially with cross joints or other things, it otherwise becomes too unstable. So just be a bit careful. Yes, we've now laid about half of the room here. And now we come to an interesting point where we want to continue laying, but that actually works quite well indeed, as expected in our case. So I just need to click in this one plank here. And as if we hadn't measured it here, in this very specific location. Will this fit later? So we can continue laying right away. I've actually already cut this one as well. It always looks much nicer, of course, when you don't have a rail. I'm curious, we'll perhaps possibly come back here sometime in 2 years and take a look at how it looks. Keep in mind, the danger is always there. And if something happens, there's no guarantee you end up stuck with the damage or the costs. Just a quick note, like in between, you always indeed mix it up nicely. But it does happen that you don't pay full attention when you're crawling around on the floor. And now there are exactly 2 darker floorboards right at the very front of the entrance area. It just doesn't look that nice. And that's why we're going to take up part of the area once more again. And we're going to replace these 2 floorboards right away so that it looks nice afterwards. Then I'll show you in detail later how to take this tongue and groove connection apart again, because you can't just rip it up. Take a look. We're going to take everything up again. For the long sides, you just need to angle them out. That's not a problem. We're doing it here by carefully angling the entire row out of the long connection in this specific and detailed process. It's best to do it with 2 people, depending on the length, of course. Now the tongue and groove connection is locked in place right now. And this tongue was pressed in here and has now securely locked this metal component end firmly in position. Now I can't just say, I'll maybe angle this somehow and just rip it up, I can't lift it up right now either, because the spring is locking it in place. You can very carefully and gently slide this connection apart with precision. You can also see very nicely here how the spring has theoretically locked it in place here. So be a little bit more careful with that. So never angle this connection high, because then it could be that you don't damage anything here, but always slide the ends apart.
with 2 or maybe even 3 people so that you push it out evenly. Make sure it absolutely doesn't get misaligned. That shouldn't happen, of course. Therefore, evenly, carefully, and with meticulous precision, basically pulling it apart. Then you just need to have this spring that sticks out right here. You just push it back in nicely so that it's back inside. And when you lay new ones, then you just simply only need a little bit more. You'll put the boards back on top. And by attaching the next plank with care and precision, you lock it again. And then everything will be fine. Also with vinyl that has a drop down, always just slide them apart, never angle them apart. It's the same principle there, just that you usually don't have the spring. So, just a little tip, just pay a little attention to that and be careful.
Yes, we've reached the end. The flooring is done. Stay tuned for the next video. Skirting boards still need to be made, and we will also do some work up here. Cover the beam. There will be a video coming soon. There's something to be done here, but else the area is ready. If you have any requests or anything, we're certainly happy to help you out. Feel free to reach out.